Hello beautiful people, my name is Masha, also known as Your Style Healer, and welcome to my channel, The Wonder Woman Within. And today we're going to discuss 5 things that I learned of working at a rehab center. If you are interested, please keep watching. Alright, I'm going to try to record this as quick as possible because the sun is setting in the beautiful Austin, Texas, and I wanted to get this video out because I think this is an important message of connection and union. And in our world right now, there's tons of separation, whether it's the countries going at it. I'm half Russian, half Ukrainian, so I definitely know. My intention with today is to share and remind you guys of how much union and connection is important for not just for ourselves, but for our future, for our children, and for one another. So I started working at a rehab center up north of Austin. As soon as I came to Austin, I got the job before I moved from Colorado last November, and I was hired as a wellness specialist, and that was the most amazing opportunity because I basically had the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do with the morning classes, the one-on-one energy healing sessions, the afternoon experiential therapy. So I really got to play around a lot with different ideas of what these men and women needed, and I came up with different activities, everything from doing reenactments of parts of internal family systems to doing a little bit of step dance and breath work and chanting and EFT tapping to get them back in their body. And I've, throughout working 3 months now at the rehab center, I learned 5 things that I wanted to share with you because what I know, what I thought I knew back then is completely different from what I know now because I experienced it firsthand. The number one is we are humans more alike than different. And besides your status, your story, a label, whatever your society decided for you to be, or your past, everyone in the world shares the same pain, the same longing to be seen, to be loved, and desire to matter. So all of us have that desire to be loved and to be seen. Doesn't matter if you served 20 years in prison, but all of them, they were to me like little kids that were craving and starving for true love, of maybe that they haven't received for a while or never received as a child or as a human being. Number 2, and I had this quote in my office, that you are not what happened to you. A lot of people in rehab unfortunately went through some type of abuse, sexual, physical, emotional, whether it is with their parents or their partners or ex-partners, right? And a lot of them still hold on to that identity of being a victim, which causes them to feel the pain, the guilt, the shame, and that cycle that turns into another relapse. And that is because they are attached to that identity of their past. So what we did in my sessions and my workshops is we tried to detach, first of all, look at ourselves from an outside perspective, not as the one having the experience, but the one who has experienced it before. And that's when true healing becomes possible, when we make that detachment and look at the bird's eye view of why it happened, how it happened, and maybe you did not know then what you know now to allow that to happen, or maybe you didn't even have a choice as a child of that happening. So healing it, what it looks like is first of all looking at yourself from the outside perspective and having compassion for that baby, for that child, for that partner that was mistreated. And that's where true healing starts, when we start to make that compassionate connection to ourselves. And when we start to make that connection to ourselves, that's when the nervous system starts to feel safer and we choose differently. We choose partners that are not toxic but actually nourishing to our lives. We choose better jobs, we choose better environments, we choose better care of ourselves, better foods, better clothing. All of that starts to unravel because we feel safe now, not just just in our nervous system, but that is also within our body. Number 3, coping mechanisms are intelligence and form of message, not flaws. So a lot of addicts that would enter our treatment center, they would be addicted to alcohol, opioids, all the drugs, heroin, as a way to cope with the pain that they did not have other tools to deal with. What often looks like distraction for the body in a form of addiction, that is usually protection. And in IFS, internal family systems, if you're familiar with it, there are protectors called the firefighters. Those are the addicts. They are there to protect you from experiencing the pain, whether as a teenager, whether as an adult. Maybe you don't want to feel the shame, the guilt, the grief. So I'm going to grab on to whatever I can get in a form of porn, marijuana, alcohol, heroin, to not feel that pain. I just want to put out the fire. That's the firefighter's job, to protect you. And oftentimes, like even my father, when he was drinking as a doctor, that's the first tool he learned as a coping mechanism as a child in Russia. And that's what people did in his family, in his environment. They turned to drinking. And a lot of us are raised with maybe different coping mechanisms because our parents are using it, whether it's food, whether it is disassociation, whether it is working out. I mean, there's a lot of different coping mechanisms that sometimes are passed on to us by our parents, and sometimes we choose what society tells us it's okay to choose, whether it's alcohol, whether it is, I mean, anything else out there that is very much available, and our society has a big problem being addicted to it, but it is more accepted, like alcohol, than heroin, for example. So those are whatever coping mechanisms you are shown, whether by your parents, your friends, your environment, or the society, that's what you're going to reach for, because there's no other tools that you were taught. The good news is you can change that as an adult, and it is your responsibility to do so. From doing my experiential art workshops, I learned that every human has the capacity and desire to be creative. It does not mean to be an artist. To create is opposite of consume. So whether it is creating a poem, writing a song, cooking a meal, creating, drawing, all of those things you are adding on to this world and your experience and your reality, versus consuming and taking something out. Being creative isn't a talent, it's a form of healing, it's a form of life force energy. Austin, Texas has inspired me so much to be creative that I started attending these open mics with Sunflower Club, which is amazing here in Austin, and I've attended ever since I came to Austin, November, December, January, February, and last month I actually shared a poem that I wrote for the first time with completely new set of audience, strangers I've never met before, and the whole gist of this type of workshop, Sunflower Club, is to use creativity as your healing and as your catharsis, to share your story, your emotion, piece of you, piece of your frequency with the world. And I truly believe that creativity exists in every single soul, and it is expressed in different ways. And if you take time to really connect to you, one day I promise you that you will start creating things with absolutely no agenda, and that is the best place to be, like a child, making a drawing, making a mess, maybe cooking a meal, but nothing is really turning out the way it's supposed to be. But the process is so beautiful and so healing, and I think all of us need more creativity in our life. And number 5, the last one, I think every human in this world craves joy, expression, and connection. I think a lot of us forget to experience joy as adults because life happens, responsibilities happen, and everything becomes monotonous, autopilot, and eventually we get tired of this life. We get depressed, we get anxiety. Unfortunately, that's a lot of what my clients come to me for, because the life has been so drained out of them that they forgot to place joy as a priority in their life. Connection as a priority in their life, expression, whether it is, like I said, creating art or dressing in a nice outfit. That's what I teach the ladies in my 12-week program, Sacred Style Alchemy. How do you express yourself to the world? Is it the way you talk? Is it the way you dress? Is it the way you make others feel? I mean, how do you express yourself? That is, a lot of people I forgot because they consume from what we have been taught the last 5-10 years from social media. But how do we truly express our truth, our authenticity, our true essence? And I believe that most people are not broken. They are simply disconnected from their aliveness, from their true essence. And I think a lot of us need maybe permission or a reminder that that spark inside of you, whether you have done 30 years in jail, whether it's the 10th time in rehab, whether it's the 5th divorce, whether it is gaining that 100 pounds back again, all of us have that inner divinity, inner spark within that we can turn on at any time and share that light with the world, because that gives other people permission to be the best version of themselves. I really invite you to start expressing more smile, more joy, more connection, just having a conversation without an agenda with a stranger, and also expressing your truth, whether it's how you want to share it with words, how you dress, what you put out in this world, content, a song, a poem. Really invite you to create more and express yourself more. I hope this video was helpful and inspiring, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.